Hey guys, this is Nandan and today we are going to discuss determinants for DCET 2022. This is the second part of the matrix and determinants preparation and you can watch the first part at the I button. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. And you can download our app called Diploma Pro 2022 for more news related to diploma, and you can find videos and study material. So let's get started. We will solve some basic problems from determinants. Let's take one example. 2, 1, 3, 6. Usually in exam they will ask you to find determinant or they will just ask this determinant of A. First you can write this question. Then what you have to do is you have to multiply this term with this, then minus, then you have to multiply this term with this. First multiply this both the terms. 2 into 6 is 12 minus 3 into 1 is 3. Therefore if you minus 13 with 3, you will get 9. This is how you will find the determinant of A. Let's take one more example on determinants. X 3 minus 5 minus 2 is equals to 2x plus 3. And in exam they will ask you to find value of x. First we will multiply this x with this, then we will multiply this with this. X into minus 2 is minus 2x. Then we will multiply this minus 5 with 3. Minus 5 into 3 is minus 15. But by default here it will be minus, so it will become plus, is equals to 2x plus 3. Now let's take all the x terms to the LHS and all the numeric values to the right. Therefore minus 2x, and if this 2x comes this side, it will become minus 2x. 3 remains as it is, then minus 15. Minus 2x is minus 4x. 3 minus 15 is minus 12. Now we will take this minus 4 to the RHS. So x is equals to minus 12 divided by minus 4. Therefore x is equals to 1, 3. X will be 3. This is how you can find value of x. Now we will solve 3 order determinant. For that we will take one example. 2, 1, 1. 3, 1, 2 and 4, 2, 1. Now what you have to do is you have to take this value outside. This value will be by default positive. This value will be positive. This will be negative and this will be positive. Then what you have to do is you have to neglect row and column with that number. That means you have to neglect this whole row and this column, and you have to take these values as a determinant. That is 1, 2, 2, 1. So this will be one determinant. Then you have to take minus sign. By default it will be minus. Then 1. Then you have to neglect this 2 now. Now what we are remaining with is 3, 2, 4 and 1. Then we have to take last term, that is plus 1. Then same, you have to neglect this row and column. Then you have to take this determinant 3, 1, 4, 2. Now let's simplify this. 2 remains as it is inside the bracket. 1 into 1 is 1, minus 2 to the 4. Then minus 1. Then inside the bracket 3 ones are 3, minus 4 to the 8. Then plus 1. Then inside the bracket 3 to the 6, minus 4. Then again we have to simplify this. 2 remains as it is inside the bracket. 1 minus 4 is minus 3. Then minus 1. 3 minus 8 is minus 5. Then plus 1. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 into minus 3 is minus 6. Minus 1 into minus 5 is plus 5. Then plus 2. Minus 6 plus 7. Minus 6 plus 7 is 1. This is how you can solve the 3 order determinant. Now we will learn about the grammar rule. Usually in the exam they will give you 2 or 3 equations and they will ask you to find value of x or value of y. So first we will start by taking 2 equations. 3x plus 2y is equals to 4 and x minus 2y is equals to 8. We can write this in a determinant form, that is 3, 2, 1 and minus 2, that is equals to 4 and 8. First we have to find the delta. To find delta we just have to solve this determinant. Let's write it once again. 3, 2, 1 minus 2. Then you have to multiply these two terms. That is 3 minus 2 is minus 6 minus 2. This will be minus 8. Then we have to find delta x. We have to modify this determinant. We have to replace this whole row with these terms if we are finding delta x, and if we are finding delta y, we have to replace this column with this column. So let's write it once again. In place of 3 and 1 we'll write 4, 8, 2 and minus 2 as it is, 2 minus 2. 4 into minus 2 is minus 8 minus 16. This will be minus 24. Now let's find delta y. As I told you, now you have to replace this column with this. Therefore 3 and 1 will remain same. 3, 1 and 4, 8. Now let's solve this. 3 into 8 is 24 minus 4. Therefore this will be 20. Now we have to find x and y. To find x, there is one formula, that is delta x divided by delta. Our delta x is minus 24 divided by our delta is 8. One and 3. This will be 3. Now we have to find y. For that, delta y divided by delta. Our delta y is 20 and delta is minus 8. 2, 4, 5 are minus 5 by 2. This is how you can solve Cramer rule with 2 equations. Now we will solve Cramer rule with 3 equations. For that we will take one example. 2x minus y minus z equals to 7. Second equation is 3x plus y minus z equals to 7 and x plus y minus z equals to 3. Let's write this in determinant form. 2 minus 1 minus 1, 3 1 minus 1, 1 1 minus 1, and this will be 7 7 3. First we will find delta. Just write the determinant as it is. 3 1 minus 1, 1 1 minus 1. We'll take this 2 outside, and now we have to neglect this whole row and column. This will be 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1. Now by default here it will be minus, so minus 1 will be plus 1. Now we'll neglect this row and this column. That means we'll get 3 minus 1, 1 and minus 1. And we will take this minus 1. Then we have to neglect this row and column. Now we'll get 3, 1, 1 and 1. Now let's simplify this. This will be 2 inside the bracket. 1 into minus 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 into minus 1 is minus 1. Minus minus becomes plus. So plus 1. Then plus 1. 3 into minus 1 is minus 3. 1 into minus 1 is minus 1. By default here it will be minus. So plus 1. Minus 1. 3 ones are 3. Minus 1. Two as it is. Minus 1 plus 1 becomes 0. Plus 1. Minus 3 plus 1. Minus 2. Minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 into 0 is 0. Minus 2 into 1 is minus 2. 2 into minus 1 is minus 2. Now let's simplify this. Minus 2 and minus 2 becomes minus 4. This is our delta. Now we will find delta x. To find delta x, we have to replace this whole column with this column. If we are finding delta y, then we have to replace this whole column with this number. Seven 7 3 minus 1 1 1 and minus 1 minus 1 minus 1. Let's take this 7 outside. Then inside the determinant we'll get 1 minus 1 1 minus 1. By default here it will be minus, so it will become plus 1. Now we have to skip this whole row and column. This will become 7 minus 1 3 minus 1. Lastly minus 1 inside the bracket. 7 1 3 and 1. Now let's simplify this. 7 inside the bracket. 1 into minus 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 becomes plus 1. Plus 1. 7 into minus 1 is minus 7. And this will become plus 3. Minus 1 inside the bracket. 7 minus 3. This becomes 0. Plus 1. Minus 3. Minus 7 plus 3 becomes minus 4. minus 1, this will become 4. 0 minus 4 into 1 is minus 4. 4 into minus 1 becomes minus 4. This will become minus 8. This is our delta x. Now let's find x. To find x, we have one formula, delta x divided by delta. Our delta x is minus 8 and our delta is minus 4. 1s are 2s are. Therefore our x is 2. In the same manner you can find y by replacing this second whole column with this column, and if you want to find value of z, you have to replace this column with these values. Yesterday one of our commentator asked us to solve 3 by 3 cofactor problem. So we'll see one. We'll take one example. 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay. If you want to find cofactor of 2, what you have to do is you have to neglect this whole row and this whole column, and you have to take this number as one of the determinant 5, 1, 1, 2, and you have to solve this. 5 2s are 10 minus 1, that is 9. So the cofactor for 2 is 9. And if you want to find cofactor for this 5, what you have to do is you have to neglect this whole column and whole row. Then you have to take this remaining term in the determinant 2, 3, 1 and 2. Then you have to solve this determinant. 2 2s are 4 minus 3, that will be 1. Like this you have to solve for everything. Like if you want to find cofactor for this one, cofactor for 1. Similarly you have to draw one vertical and one horizontal line from this. You have to take the remaining term in one determinant. This will be 1, 3, 5, 1. After solving you will get 1 minus 15. This will be minus 14. Because of the time constraint, I will not solve the full problem here. You can find notes in the description section. Now we will solve problem based on inverse of a matrix. For that we will take one example, that is minus 3, 5, minus 2 and 4. To find inverse of a matrix we have one formula, that is A inverse is equals to adjoint of A divided by determinant of A. That means first we have to find adjoint of this matrix, then we have to find determinant of this matrix. First we will find determinant of this matrix. For that we will write minus 3, 5, minus 2 and 4. Now let's multiply these two terms. Minus 3 into 4 is minus 12. Minus will be there by default. Minus 2 into 5 is minus 10. That will become plus 10. Minus 12 plus 10 is minus 2. So now we got result for determinant of A. Now let's find adjoint of A. As I told you in the last video, to find adjoint of A, first you have to find cofactor of that matrix. Then you have to find transpose of that matrix. If you haven't seen our last video, you can subscribe to our channel Then we are going to upload a whole new series for DCET 2022 preparation. You can subscribe and like this video. Also, we have app called Diploma Pro 2022. I'll give link in the description where you can find all the notes and study material for diploma and DCET preparation. Instead of doing this like finding cofactor and then transposing it, I have one simple tip for finding adjoint of A. What you have to do is, now we have to find adjoint of this matrix. So I'll show you. First take a matrix -3, 5, -2 and 4. What you have to do is, you have to interchange these two numbers. Like in place of -3 you have to write 4, and in place of in place of 4 you have to write -3. And what you have to do is, you have to keep these values as it is, 5 and 2, but you have to change their signs. If this is positive, you have to make it negative here, and this is negative, you have to make it positive. This is how you can find adjoint of A directly. Now let's substitute this in our formula. So our formula was adjoint of A divided by determinant of A. Therefore 4, -5, 2 and -3, and our determinant was -2. Let's simplify this. This will become 4 divided by -2, -5 divided by -2, 2 divided by -2 and -3 divided by -2. Let's simplify this further. This will become 1, 2, that is -2. We cannot divide this, so we will just remove the signs. This will become 5 divided by 2. This will become -1. Same, this will become 3 by 2. This is how you can find inverse of any matrix. Now we will see how to find characteristic equation and roots. For this we will take one example, that is 7, 4, 5 and 6. There is one formula for finding characteristic equation and roots, that is A minus lambda I is equals to 0. You need not to worry about this because I'll tell you the shortcut form. What you have to do is, you have to take one determinant, and what you have to do is, you have to subtract this term with lambda. That is 7 minus lambda, 4 will be as it is, and this term also will be as it is, and we have to subtract this term also with lambda. That is 6 minus lambda is equals to 0. Now let's simplify this. It will become, if you multiply these two terms, 7 minus lambda into 6 minus lambda minus 5 into 4 is 20 equals to 0. Now we'll simplify this. What you have to do is, you have to multiply this term with this term, then you have to multiply this term with this term, then again you have to multiply this term with this term, then lastly you have to multiply this term with this term. So let's multiply this. 7 into 6 is 42. Then 7 into minus lambda is minus 7 lambda. Minus lambda into 6 is minus 6 lambda. Then minus lambda into minus lambda is plus lambda square minus 20 is equals to 0. Now let's simplify this. 42 will be as it is. Minus 7 lambda and minus 6 lambda is minus 13 lambda plus lambda square minus 20 is equals to 0. Now let's simplify this further. We'll take this lambda square, the first term, then minus 13 lambda. Then what you have to do is, minus 20 plus 42, it will become plus 22 equals to 0. So this is your characteristic equation. If you solve this much, you will get characteristic equation. Now if we want roots for this, then we have to simplify this further. So we'll take this once again, lambda square minus 13 lambda plus 22 is equals to 0. Now we have to simplify this. What we have to do is, we have to take this term 22 and we have to find a number. If we multiply those two numbers, we'll get 22, and if we add them, we'll get 13. So those terms will be 11 and 2. Then we want minus 13. So minus 11 and minus 2 will be minus 13, and if we multiply this minus 11 and minus 2, we'll get plus 22. Therefore we'll write this lambda square minus 11 lambda and minus 2 lambda plus 22 is equals to 0. Then we'll simplify this further. We'll take this lambda outside, then inside the bracket we have to write 11 minus lambda. We'll keep 11 lambda minus 11 as it is. Then here we have to put minus 2, because if we multiply this minus 2 with lambda, we'll get minus 2 lambda. Minus 2 into minus 11 is plus 22. Then we'll take this minus lambda minus 11 in one bracket and lambda minus 2 in one bracket is equals to 0. Then what we have to do is, we'll take this lambda minus 11 is equals to 0 one side, lambda minus 2 is equals to 0 one side. Now we'll shift this minus 11 to RHS. It will become lambda is equals to 0. Same, it will become lambda is equals to 2. So the characteristic roots are 11 and 2, or it can be 2 and 11. This is how you can find roots of the characteristic equation. So with this, I have covered the whole matrices and determinants. You can score up to 7 marks from this topic. In the next video, we will be covering probability. So subscribe and press the bell icon. Let's talk about our app now. So this is our Diploma Pro 2022 app. Link is in the description. The app has a quiz feature for DCET preparation, and it also has syllabus copies and previous year question papers for your reference. Do check out. Thank you.